Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gaurav, and I'm part of the Okto team in CoinDCX. And today, I'll just my job is to give you a quick introduction about how we're approaching solving the decentralized finance problem with our Okto app. It's just me talking to the screen, so I'll keep it short and try not to make it too boring. So yeah, let me just jump into it. Before I actually start talking about Okto, it's really good to get a view of how we think decentralized finance is. Nobody's written the textbook yet. So there's no standard definition of decentralized finance. But just to understand what we think about decentralized finance, there's a very interesting quote somebody gave to me recently. They said that if you remember the second law of thermodynamics, it basically says that the entropy in the system always keeps on increasing, right? And I think if you keep that in mind and you look at finance over the last 100 years or so, that's really what's been happening. This decentralization has been happening throughout the last few hundred years. If you look at it compared to 100 years ago to now, more people have access to banking systems, more people have access to stocks trading. So it's not only the large banks, but more and more smaller traders, small businesses, they have access to these financial systems. And this latest wave of decentralization, which blockchain is bringing, is just an extension of that. That's at least the way we look at it. If you think about decentralization, right, I think you can kind of break it up in really three parts. There's decentralization or democratization of the supply side, which is the people who are participating in it. There are decentralization of kind of the demand side in terms of how I'm holding my assets, where I'm keeping them. And then there's decentralization of the actual transactions. So let me talk about the three parts, right? So if you look at the supply side, earlier, only your bank could offer you interest, or only your bank or an investment bank could offer you some of these products, or structured products, or some of the complex products that you can trade. But now with DeFi, honestly, anybody who can write code can just build a quick product. They can build upon a previous product. They can combine multiple products together, what we call composability. So it's really enabled many more people to create innovative products. And that, I think, by itself is going to just bring about great innovation in creating these financial products. If you look at the participants, right, the people who can access these products, and this has been a UN directive. They want to bring in inclusion into the financial system. They want to bring in more people into the financial system. That's been a goal for the United Nations since 2015. And I think this truly helps towards that goal, where anybody with just a mobile phone can now start, interacting with these new products that are being created. Can trade, can lend, earn some interest, and maybe even buy some more complex products. So it's bringing in democratization on both sides. And the last part is, and I think this is also very important, where because there is now no central clearing authority or matching engine, the transactions are really cheap, they're fast, they're almost instant, which, simple things, and there's a much talked about example of sending money from one country to another, which would earlier take days and maybe months a few decades back, now happens in seconds. So that's the kind of speed that decentralized finance also bring on the transaction. So supply side, the demand side, and the transaction side. But having said that, right, it's not perfect yet. There's just still a lot of challenges in there. I think a lot of power exists in this ecosystem. But not everybody's been able to access the power. So what are the key problems that currently this ecosystem faces? And if you ask me to summarize it in one line, I would just say this DeFi currently faces a problem of usability. Like, it is incredibly difficult to access and use this ecosystem. And let me try and add some more color to this statement. the number of chains, right? If you look at it, there are many chains, and they have rightly popped up because they're solving different problems. So from a technology side, they're amazing and they're powerful and they're solving different things. From a user side, they just add so much complication. I know even like seasoned DeFi veterans keep getting stumped by these chains. How do I access this chain versus that chain? My asset is stuck in this chain versus that chain. So it's creating a usability problem while it is technically very good. So multi-chain, cross-chain is a big problem. The other, I think, really big one is honestly seed phrases. So whenever you want to create your own decentralized finance wallet, you need to have a seed phrase. So everybody needs to understand what the seed phrase is. You need to store it somewhere. You cannot lose it. It's a single point of failure. If you lose it, you lose access to all your money. So just creating, understanding, managing that seed phrase is a large problem. Another problem is, I think, just discovery and risk, right? Figuring out what to transact with, what is risky, what is not risky, what is a hack or a scam or a rug pull scheme. It's very difficult to understand some of that for the normal person. All of this becomes even more complex when we see that the ecosystem is coming up in bursts of spurs. So this wallet works with one chain or one protocol, this wallet works with another one. So you need to have sometimes even multiple wallets to do multiple things. So all of these are like large problems that the ecosystem is facing. So imagine this is how we like to visualize a solution. Imagine a wallet which actually is just a simple mobile application which you can download. You can set it up almost in like 1 or 2 clicks without having to go through complexity of understanding the key phrases. Once you install it, you immediately have access to all the use cases. And I'm not talking dApps. I'm saying use cases, which is earning interest, making a loan, taking buying a token across thousands of tokens. You can do all of that without having to honestly worry about which chain, which protocol, and all of that stuff. And all of this in the most secure way, so that while you're getting all of this ease, you don't have to worry about security. So that is the solution that we want to build for you. And that's really what we're calling Okto. So what we say about Okto is it's the power of self-custody in your pocket, complete access to DeFi in a very simple user interface is really what we want to do. And while DeFi is a starting point, we want to get to a place where we want to give you access to the best of Web3 just from this single app. And that's the journey we want to take. So let me just double click into Okto now. That's our product, which we will be launching very soon. And just talking about a few of the things that we are solving with Okto. So let's start with self-custody, because I think anyway, that's the theme of the moment. Everybody is really talking about self-custody. Self-custody, as a lot of you would know, is basically the assets are in your control. They're not sitting in a pooled custody where a lot of other people's assets, and they're very segregated in your own address or wallet, and you have full control of it. So that's self-custody is literally the cornerstone on which we built the whole Okto app. And then the second part of it is the self-custody is secured by MPC technology, which hides the keys part from you, makes it almost a keyless experience, while at the same time giving you complete security. So if I just try to summarize MPC in a couple of words, right? What we do is there's not one single key that is accessing that's used to access the wallet. They're actually different kind of parts of the key that are stored in different areas. They don't never come into one place. They don't talk to each other, and all of them have to actually be there to sign the transaction for it to go through. So there's no one single point of failure. So that's self-custody powered by MPC. And then once you have this base, what we want to add to it is, bring the best of DeFi to you. We want to bring you all the swaps, all the tokens that you want to trade, all the earning opportunities, across farms, liquidity pools, everything in a very seamless manner where you don't have to worry about integration with chains, asset movement across chains, all of that stuff. We will abstract and take care of all of that for you. And the last really part is, assisting you through all of this, assisting you in understanding the risk, assisting you in discovery, saying, hey, this is what you should be doing. This is where you could actually maximize the assets that you have, earn most from it, and really even assisting you if you lose your access to your app. How can we help recover you? Unlike in the previous form of self-custody, if you lose your key, you lose everything. With Okto, we can actually help recover that for you also. So that's kind of the cornerstone of all of the things that we're building in Okto. But having said that, none of this is easy. All of these sound very easy on when I say it in English, but in reality, there's a lot of complex things that have to be solved. And really, we are looking at help from all of you to solve, small parts of these problems, simplify things so that you can make it much more easy, much more usable for the users. And that's really what this hackathon will be about.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vivek. I work engineering at Okto. As Gaurav mentioned in his chat, we are trying to make DeFi more accessible, bring it to retail users. As we attempt to bring it to retail users, it presents a number of challenges, primarily centered around making the whole experience simpler and easier for the users. Some of the problem statements that we are currently addressing include making the transactions atomic. Now, what do I mean? It means that a user might want to execute more than one transaction, or we might need to require to execute more than one transaction on the blockchain. But for an end user, it simply means a single transaction. As an example, approve the funds, swap it for a token, and use that token for adding liquidity to a liquidity pool. Now, to a blockchain, this looks like three different transactions. But from an end user point of view, this is like a singular transaction. Is there a way for us to be able to bundle these transactions and execute it as a single atomic unit on blockchain? So that's our first problem statement, where we are asking you to design a contract that takes a bundle of transactions and executes that transaction as a single unit. Either everything succeeds or everything fails as an atomic unit on chain. Now, my example could also be extended to include, say, yield farming, right? So I approve funds, I swap funds, I add it to liquidity pool. Once and after I have received the liquidity token, I use that liquidity token to add it to a pool or a farm. This is what we are expecting you to do as part of our first problem statement. The second problem statement revolves around being able to execute transactions without having gas token or native token in most instances. Typically, retail users do not understand that they require to pay the gas fee in native tokens or in gas tokens. Even if they did, it creates challenges of a different nature. What if I did not have a gas token? The most obvious route for me is to swap one of my existing tokens to receive gas tokens. But this swap transaction also requires the user to have gas fee tokens. So the second problem statement that we are trying to solve is around being able to execute a transaction when the user does not have the gas token or does not have the native token to be able to pay the gas fee. How do you solve this? You basically use the tokens, other stable tokens like USDT, USDC, DAI, and other such tokens that might exist in user's wallet, and use those tokens to be able to pay the gas fee and then execute the transactions. The third problem statement is around Web3 recovery. We are looking for you to build a mechanism using which users are able to store any of their secret information. It could be any data in a decentralized fashion on blockchain, and then be able to retrieve it in a permissioned zero knowledge fashion. Now, once this technology has been built, it can have multitudes of use cases. For instance, it could also be used for backing up a user's private key, or creating mechanisms around nominations for people to be able to nominate nominees to be able to to recover that private key for executing transactions. But for us, for this hackathon, we are looking for you to simply focus on building this technology where user is able to store any information, any data in a decentralized fashion on a blockchain, and then be able to retrieve it in a permissioned zero knowledge fashion. Continuing from what I was just saying, the fourth problem statement that we are trying to address is around wallet nominations. Now, for a retail users, many times, in fact, for any user in the world, many times your assets might actually outlive the user. There is no simple way in blockchain for people to be able to nominate their assets to somebody else, because it is all about holding the private key. Whoever holds the private key is the one who holds the assets. So in this world, while it creates power for the user, it is central to how decentralization works. It is also important for us to build mechanisms wherein people are able to create nominees, where nominees are able to unlock their funds in case where users are incapacitated. So that's the fourth problem statement we are looking for you to address. Build a mechanism where people are able to nominate and then be able to unlock funds in case of incapacitation. Lastly, token naming service. Now, all of us know there is no central database for maintaining a registry of token names or token icons. This results in multitude of problems, including for aggregators like Okto to be able to determine which is the genuine token to use, but more importantly for a retail users who tend to get spammed. It is very, very easy for anybody to create a token by any name. I mean, I could launch a token today by the name BNB. I could launch a token by the name ETH. How would a user be able to say a spam token from a genuine token? We are asking you as part of our last problem statement to build out a token naming service using which you will be able to, people will be able to register their token name or their token logo. And this needs to be a fully decentralized mechanism where there are validators who are able to approve these transactions, and no central body, no centralized body be involved in maintaining this registry. That's our final problem statement. If there are any other problem statements you would like to work on, please feel free to reach out to our on-ground team to discuss the problem statement before you start executing it. And for any assistance with the problem statements that we have listed, of course, please do reach out to us. We have an on-ground team there. Happy to work with you in order to help you solve the problems. Like said, we are working on bringing DeFi ecosystem to retail users, making it more accessible. We are actively working on solving a lot of these problems. I am very confident that a lot of you will come up with very innovative solutions to the sort of problems we are dealing with. We're really looking forward to some of these solutions coming out, and all the best. Let's start cracking.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.